Hey guys, Matt with Kentucky Range Time, and back this evening with a review on a new purchase that I made this week. It's the Kel-Tec P17 22 long rifle semi-automatic handgun, and picked this thing up from Palmetto State Armory. It was $169.99. I think it was $204 with tax and shipping and everything. So really good price on this. This is the first Kel-Tec I've ever owned, and I've shot several Kel-Tecs over the years. Always had satisfactory opinion of these platforms, and I've read several reviews on this. Says it can be kind of ammo picky, and I have 6 or 7 different kinds of ammo here today, and I'm going to run a few rounds out of each one of them. I've got a target set up back here at 10 yards out, and I'm actually going to see how this groups with each of these ammos at 30 feet, and we'll have all that coming up here in the review. Okay, so here's the box it came in. I picked this up yesterday at my local FFL where they transferred it into. This thing has a couple of features from the factory that are a little bit different than a lot of other 22 long rifles. First of all, it has 16 round magazines. Comes with 3 of these, standard from the factory. And it also comes, make sure we're clear, safety's on, lock this slide back here. It also comes with a threaded barrel adapter. And I'll show you this real quick. There's a thread protector I had. Actually, that was for one of my ARs, but it's doing the job right now. So out of the box, it comes with this little nub here that just barely sticks out past the slide, and this actually threads down over the barrel, and it comes with this wrench. You use this wrench here to take this piece off, and then you use the fork spoke back here to put the threaded adapter back on. And it's as simple as threading one off and threading the other one back on to go from threads for a suppressor or some type of muzzle device to just the standard flush barrel. Comes with a clear chamber flag, and also comes with an Allen wrench to adjust the windage on the rear sight. Now the sights on this thing, got a standard 2-post rear sight, got a standard single post front sight with green fiber optic, and so this thing lights up really good. Sighting on this is very pleasant. Recoil mechanism and takedown. So to take this down, you start by clearing the chamber, locking this slide back, and then there's a takedown lever here similar to what the Glocks have. You pull this down and you pull this back just a hair farther, and you raise it up and out. Get this everywhere everybody can see real nice. So you pull back and up and out, and then you slide this down off the end of the barrel. Of course, you have to have your thread adapters off here at the end to do this. The spring is actually surrounding the barrel, and it's just a standard coil spring, and that's pretty simple. It's the takedown on it, pretty straightforward. The one thing I have noticed already, there is no magazine disconnect, so this gun will fire without a magazine in it if it has a round chamber. Right here, so on reset, that's a very hard pull back on the slide once the hammer's dropped. There is a hammer indicator here in the back. You can see it on camera, but this is red, and when you pull the trigger, the hammer comes up and the red goes from red to black. So the complaints that I've heard on this so far seem to indicate that it's not coming back far enough to pick a round up out of the chamber, and I can already tell you it's from the weight of the hammer spring. I'm guessing roughly right here, this is probably maybe pushing 15 to 20 pounds for this to come back. Now I may try to put my trigger test pull gauge on this and actually see what it is. Actually, let's do that right now, just out of curiosity. See if I can rig this up in a way, get that down in there. All right, so this only goes up to 8 pounds. And right there we're 8 pounds. Now we're maxed out. And I'm saying at least 15 plus pounds on that. So I think initially, and maybe this goes away with some wear in, but initially, this is probably a lot of the issues that people are having with this, not cycling or feeding properly when it's new. Now, as far as actual trigger pull, clicked a few of these last night. It was hitting anywhere from 2.5 to 3 pounds. That one was just under 3 pounds. Let's try this again. There again, just under 3 pounds. So a fairly consistent 3 pound trigger pull. Take up is short and light. See right there, that's the take up motion on it, and from there it breaks crisp and clean. I will say this is a really good trigger. This is as good as the trigger on most of my Glocks. So, and that's after the Glock 15-minute trigger polishing job. So really satisfied with the trigger on this thing. Okay, so initially I've got all 3 of these magazines. This is 16 rounds each. So that's going to give me a total of 48 rounds loaded up already. I'm going to run these 3 magazines out and just to see how it functions. I'm going to do that on camera. I'll burn through these fairly quickly, probably just dumping them toward the bank back here to 100 yards. I'm more concerned with trigger pull and actually function to see if they cycle very well and see what's going on. These are a CCI. They may be a mini mag. I think they are CCI mini mags. So that should be a fairly decent powered round, and it shouldn't have any issues cycling this slide. And all right, so let's get turned around here and we'll get at it. Okay, Kel-Tec P17, first rounds downrange. Very nice. Very nice. At 100 yards, I'm aiming at a spot on the backstop, actually at 120 yards back there. My sight is not moving off that spot by more than a couple of feet at 120 yards. Okay, so this is the second magazine that's done this. I dropped the slide on a full magazine and it's not stripping that first round out and chambering it. Just needs a little bit of help. But they are new mags, they are tight springs, and getting that last round in there did take a little extra effort. So naturally taking it out is also going to require a little extra. All right, 48 rounds, no issues. Here are the 9 different brands of ammo that I'm getting ready to not only cycle through here, I'll probably do 5 rounds each. I want to check to see which one of these cycle the action on this thing, which ones have issues. But I'm also going to see how each one of these groups on paper right here. So starting off, we have American Eagle, 40 grain. And I'm going to have to get my glasses on to see these. Laser brass, also 40 grains. Federal, that's Federal 510s, also a 40 grain. I have Aguila 22 subsonic 40 grain, I have Norma Match 22, 40 grain. I have Norma Tac 22, also 40 grain. CCI mini mags, which is what I just was running that ran flawlessly, but we'll see how these group. I have Winchester Super Suppressor, also a 40 grain. The mini mags were I don't see a grain weight on the mini mags. All right. Not sure what the velocity or the bullet weight is on the mini mags. And last but not least, the Hornady 40 grain, or I'm sorry, the Browning ammunition 40 grain also. So looks like most of these are 40 grain loads, including the subsonics. So let's get set up and see what we can do with these. All right, guys, here's my 3 different loads. I'll do this in 3 different waves. That way there's not so much downtime on camera. That was a misfire. First 3 down. Okay, so in between rounds that time, I took the Allen wrench that came with the kit, and I did adjust the windage on the rear sight. All 3 of those groups were about 1 inch to the left, so I made some adjustments on this, just getting this thing sighted in. All right, so here we go with the set of 5. Got a misfire, failure to eject. That was the Norma Match 22 Elite max grade long rifle. Carry on, this is our last set of 3. Pretty much on the board. That was the Winchester Super Suppressor. I got a stovepipe. Did not pick up the next round. flawlessly. And this is the Browning. All right. That's it. 9 rounds times 5 each. Let's go down and take a quick look at the paper, and then I will mark all this up. This was a factory setting, me adjusting the sights the wrong direction, and then me coming back and adjusting the sights with the correct windage. Super suppressor subsonic grouped quite a bit higher. Looks like the Hornady and the CCI mini mags actually gave the best groups. So I get these marked up. I'll get a picture that I'll have coming up. As you can see from the previous picture, the best group I think came with this, the Browning 22 long rifle. This Browning doesn't call this anything special. This is just, and this is the card I cut. This is like a 1,000-round box or something that I bought, but I bought this card to put in there with it when I stored it. Just says performance rimfire, round nose bullet from Browning. That was my best group. Actually, I had this marked at 10 yards. I marked that out from the front of the shooting bench. I stepped out for 10 yards, and I actually ended up shooting from back on the shooting bench. So it's actually probably closer to 12 yards, 36 feet instead of 30. 6 feet don't make a difference, but sometimes it does. And then I dug out another box of I dug out another box of my CCI mini mags, and this box does have the weight on it. Those were 40 grain bullets. So all 9 of these loads were 40 grain loads. Any surprises here? I don't think so. I mean, this short barrel, it really did like the Browning and the CCI. The groups with the other ones were, but you know, it didn't run any of them bad. It cycled everything pretty well. One of the Normas, stovepiped, didn't completely eject the spent case. One of the Winchester Super Suppressor, it ejected but didn't clear the case, and that was really the initial 46 rounds that went flawlessly, CCI mini mags, and then the next 45 rounds, 9 times 5 is 45. I had 2 failure to ejects, and if you watch in the video real close, you'll notice that the slide did not come back as far on one of those rounds. I definitely noticed when I was reviewing the footage earlier. So it makes me wonder if a couple of those loads didn't have a light powder charge in them, especially the Winchester Super Suppressor. This happened to be the one that when I was dumping ammo out, you can get a good look at this if it'll focus in on it. So this is it. This actually came out of the box this way. This thing has come apart inside the box during shipping. I'm going to assume there was some powder floating around in the bottom as well. So maybe Winchester's having some issues there on their manufacturing line. Could have been a little light powder charge in one of those that didn't seem to have as much recoil, that didn't move the slide back as far. Definitely right here proves that they were having some other issues on the manufacturing line when they were making this ammo. All right, guys, so that was the initial firing and my first impressions on this Kel-Tec P17. Other than that, it does come with the obligatory trigger lock and instruction manual. Case has plenty of room in it to store the gun, the magazines, and the foam is thin enough that you can also probably put a couple of 100-round boxes of ammo in here as well if you wanted to store ammo with the gun. So that's it, guys. Kel-Tec P17 22 long rifle, absolutely worth every penny of this. I'm going to be watching. If Palmetto State puts these back on sale, I'll probably at least have a second one and maybe even a third one. Threaded barrel, it's a whole lot of gun for the price. So if you got any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys later.